Hey guys, today we're going to talk about adjectives. We're going to wrap this up today and then move on with some comparing adjectives later on in the week and then adverbs a little bit next week. So today we're just going to talk about adjectives. We're not going to talk about adverbs. Adverbs are something to describe verbs. So today we're just going to do adjectives again and just do a little review. First of all, directions. Watch this slideshow and this video. After you watch this video, go to Google Classroom and then there'll be a Google form on there. It's called Adjective Quiz, and then you can go ahead and take that. It might be a good idea if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil or something to take notes on, so you can use those notes to look back to real quickly during the quiz. If you need to do that, just go ahead and pause this video right now. If you need to go to your locker, just go ahead and get up, walk to your locker to get a pencil. The paper is obviously in the classroom, or if you just have some scrap paper, you can use that. But I'd advise you take some notes. Again, just pause it, go out, come back and hit pause again, and you can play the rest of the video. After this video quiz, work on your AR points, guys. We have not focused at all on AR, and we really need to get back on track with that. Your AR points are going to be due here the next couple weeks, right before spring break, as a matter of fact. So you have a little less, or a little more than a month to get those done, and we haven't had much time in school. So let's make sure we start bringing a book to class and work on AR points. Okay, back to adjectives. Okay, a couple things about adjectives. Remember, adjectives are describing words. Okay, they only describe nouns. Okay, nouns are people, places, and things. Okay, for example, we have flag, table, shoe, gym. Okay, you can read some of those there. And again, if you need to pause this for any reason, you can pause it, write some of these down, take some notes, that's fine. But again, nouns are being described by adjectives. Okay? Proper nouns are also people, places, and things. They're just capitalized. For example, proper nouns are like Mr. Moore, Jason, Brooklyn, Nike, Ford, Samsung, Apple, Detroit Tigers. Okay, anything that's a person, place, or a thing that needs to be capitalized all the time. All you guys are proper nouns. All your names are supposed to be capitalized. Again, adjectives describe nouns. Remember, only nouns and not all nouns in a sentence are described. Remember, some nouns are not being described by an adjective. Some nouns are just there. They may have the word the or a before it. We're not worried about those. Okay, we're only talking about words that are describing. Okay, adjectives are describing words. We're only talking about describing nouns, a person, place, or a thing. Adjectives describe nouns, person, place, thing, like we've been talking about. After finding the nouns in a sentence, ask yourself two questions. Again, you find the noun, ask these two questions. The answer to these two questions will be your adjective or adjectives. Again, there could be more than one adjective describing the one noun. Okay, but ask yourself the two questions after finding the noun or more than one noun in the sentence. You're going to ask, what kind and how many? Okay, for example, the teacher helped 3 funny boys with their 10 difficult lines for the play. The nouns here are teacher, boys, lines, and play. The adjectives that describe teacher, there are none. Okay, nothing describes the teacher. We have the, that's not describing the teacher. I know I mentioned that a little bit the other day, but we're not worried about those right now. The next noun I see is boys. What kind of boys? Funny. How many boys? 3. Okay, so those would be there, and you can see that pop up down there. And then I see lines. What kind of lines? Difficult. How many lines? 10. Okay, there's one more noun here. We said it's play. Play is right here. There's nothing that describes play. The word the doesn't really describe them. So again, our adjectives are 3, funny, 10, and difficult. And they describe the nouns boys and play. I'm sorry, boys and lines, not play. Okay, adjectives are not adverbs. Okay, adverbs are something else. Okay, adverbs describe verbs. We're not focusing on those right now. We're going to in the next couple weeks, but adverbs describe verbs. Okay, we're going to talk about those later. We're talking about adjectives, which describe nouns. Okay, we'll talk much about adverbs in the next couple weeks. I want to make sure we conquer adjectives first, because by the end of the week we're going to talk about comparing adjectives in the proper way. I hear you guys speak a lot and you're not using them in the proper manner, so I want to make sure that when we are speaking and writing that we're using the proper comparative and superlative form. And we'll get into that later, so don't worry about that, but they are still adjectives. Again, adjectives are describing words that describe nouns and nouns only. A noun is a person, place, or a thing. There can be more than one adjective to describe the same noun. Okay, so if you find one noun in a sentence, there could be more than one. Even how many, it could be what kind, it could be more than one of those. Okay, but you still ask the questions. So for example, the big, tall, skinny, dark-haired boy was opening the jar. Okay, the nouns here are boy and jar. Well, what kind of boy? Dark-haired. What kind of boy? Skinny. What kind of boy? Tall. What kind of boy? Big. All those are adjectives that describe boy. Jar, well, nothing's really describing jar except the word the. Okay, was opening is our verb, so that has nothing to do with it. Okay, so talking about jar and boy. Nothing describes jar. Boy has a few. Okay, you can see them pop up here. We have big, tall, skinny, and dark-haired. All those describe the noun boy. And they all answer one thing. What kind? None of them answer how many. They all answer what kind. So it can answer the same question three or four different times. You can see this time it answered it 4 different times. Big, tall, skinny described the boy. What kind of boy? More things to remember, guys. Adjectives only work with nouns or pronouns. Remember, pronouns are words like he, she, his, her, they, theirs, things like that. We worked on those last week. I know this week we're talking about adjectives and nouns. Verbs are not involved with adjectives. Verbs are something different. Verbs show action. Okay, we're working on nouns, person, place, or a thing, and the adjective describes a noun. Ask yourself 2 questions once you find the noun in the sentence. Ask yourself, what kind or how many? The answer to those questions will be your adjective. If nothing answers it, then there is not an adjective for that noun. The answer to the questions is your adjective, which we just talked about. There can be more than one adjective describing the same noun, and it can come before or after the noun it is describing. So again, once you find that noun, look in the sentence. Look before it, look after it. It doesn't matter where it's at. It still could be describing that same word. So again, find the noun, ask yourself 2 questions. What kind or how many? Let's practice. So this first sentence, before the next meeting, the president will meet the marketing staff. Okay, so let's find our nouns. So I see meeting. Okay, what kind of meeting? Well, there's not really anything that describes that. How many meeting? Well, there's really nothing to describe that. You could say next describes a meeting. Well, not really, because it kind of describes when. Okay, I see president here as another noun. What kind of president? I see nothing there. How many president? It'd just be the, but we're not going to put that in there. A and the, we're not worried about those right now. And then I keep going. I see the word staff as another noun. What kind of staff? Marketing. So marketing would be our adjective because we found the noun of staff, asked ourselves what kind or how many, and that would be marketing. So marketing is our only adjective in this sentence. The next sentence. Alabama's governor replied quickly to the blunt question. Okay, the word blunt means it's a very straightforward question. It's a very awkward question sometimes, and it's just straight to the point. They didn't dance around it. They just strictly went in and asked the question. That's what that means. But let's look at our nouns here. Okay, Alabama, that's a possessive noun. Obviously, it's a proper noun because it's capitalized. But let's look at governor. Okay, governor's another noun. What kind of governor? Nothing really answers that. How many governor? Nothing really answers that. You could say Alabama's governor describes it, but it doesn't say what kind of governor. Okay, so Alabama's is a possessive noun, regular, not pronoun, regular possessive noun because of the apostrophe. Remember, pronouns do not have apostrophes, only possessive nouns. So we have nothing for governor. Then our next noun I see is question. That's a person, place, or a thing. What kind of question? Blunt. Blunt would be our adjective for our noun question. The next sentence. Their old dog has stopped retrieving the daily newspaper. So let's look at our nouns here. So let's start at the beginning. I see a pronoun here. Nothing with that, so we'll move on. Dog. What kind of dog? Old. Old would be an adjective describing the noun dog. Okay, I keep going. There's our verb, has stopped. Retrieving would be a verb. Then I get over here. Oh, I see another verb. Newspaper. Person, place, or thing. Newspaper's a thing. What kind of newspaper? Daily. So that would be our adjective for the noun newspaper. So our adjectives in this sentence would be old, describing the dog, and daily, describing the newspaper. Because I found the nouns, dog and newspaper, and I asked myself two questions. What kind and how many? What kind of dog? Old. What kind of newspaper? Daily. Next question. They answered the challenging questions but missed the easy ones. First of all, there should be a comma right there. And let's look at our nouns. They answered the challenging questions. Okay, I see questions. What kind of questions? Challenging. Challenging is an adjective that describes the noun questions. But missed the easy ones. Ones would be a noun here. It's a thing. Okay. What kind of ones? Easy. Easy is an adjective describing ones. Usually when you see the word the, there's usually a noun soon after it. And our last one. Would you mind saving Lucy a small serving of that chocolate cake? Okay, let's look. Okay, Lucy is a proper noun because it's a name and it's capitalized, but there's nothing really describing that. What kind of Lucy? How many Lucy? It doesn't really say. Okay, serving would be a noun. Okay, some of you guys say, no, that's a verb, Mr. Moore. It shows action. It does not here. Our verb in this sentence would be saving. Okay, serving is what they're talking about as a small piece of cake. So what kind of serving? Small. Again, I said ignore the words a or an or the. Okay, those are the small words that sometimes answer how many, but we're not worried about that. So don't worry about the words an or the. But serving is a noun. What kind of serving? Small. Cake is a noun. What kind of cake? Chocolate. So again, find the noun, ask two questions. What kind or how many? The answer to those is going to be your adjective. Keep in mind there could be more than one adjective for each noun, and the adjective could come before or after the noun that's being described. But adjectives describe nouns. Nouns are person, places, or things. Now, after this video, okay, if you need to pause it and go back and watch it again, feel free. Whatever you need to do, that's fine. I hope you took notes, so this quiz will be easy for you. But after this video, go back to the Google Classroom and take the quiz on the Google form that is posted. It is labeled Adjective Quiz. Okay, it should be right there. Be sure to take your time and remember to look at the nouns first and ask two questions. What kind or how many, like we've been talking about. Not each noun will have an adjective. Remember, not every noun will answer the questions what kind or how many. But keep in mind, there could be more than one adjective for a noun you found. And remember, look before and after the noun. Okay, it could come before or after, but just the biggest thing is, find the noun, ask what kind or how many. This will be graded. Okay, this quiz you're taking on Google Forms will be graded, so take your time. Don't hurry through this. I want to make sure you guys get a good grade. And when you are done, you can go get a book and read it. Okay, if you just need to, put your Chromebook away, go ahead, put it away. Just get up, go get your book, but come back in. Just keep an eye on the corner of your computer. Look at the clock down there. If it's close to 10:49, don't worry about getting a book. But if it's anything before 10:45, you need to go out and get a book and try to get a couple pages read before lunch, which is at 10:49. You only have a few weeks left to reach your AR goal, which we talked about. Be sure to start bringing your book, okay? I know we've been out of school a lot, and we don't have a lot of time to read in class, but you need to start reading 20 minutes a day. So we really need to focus on reading in class and having our accelerated reader book. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, come up and ask. But remember, adjectives describe nouns. Nouns are a person, place, or thing. Find the noun in each sentence. Ask two questions, what kind and how many. The answer to those is your adjective. and you can simply take the quiz that way. Again, I hope you took some notes. If you need to go back and review any of this video,